Congratulations, you've already made it over halfway through this video series. We want to talk about managing a life group, and there's lots of little logistical things that take place that will help you stay connected to the people in your group, and that will help us as leadership know how to pray for you. So I kind of want to go back. We talked a little bit about childcare in the last video. I want to go back and kind of dig into that a little bit more. We mentioned that as a church we do pay for childcare. So one of the things we do is we pay $15 per childcare worker. In some groups, typically we recommend having at least 2. Sometimes you may even need 3, depending upon how many children are in your group. If you've got questions about how this works, you can talk to Jennifer, my wife, who has some information. She's kind of gone through some training with some of our youth so that they're ready and know how to provide childcare. And it's a couple things to keep in mind. Just for your safety and for our safety as a church as well. You really never want any adult or teen alone with any children. That's why we recommend at least 2. Some groups are able to have child care close by, like in an adjoining room. Sometimes they have a basement or another room that the kids can go into. But just some basic things to think through about. You want to make sure that the kids, that the area that they're playing in is safe, there's nothing there that they can get out that will hurt them, or just provide a safe, fun environment. Some groups will have the kids watch movies, some have them go outside or go to a playground, all sorts of ideas there. But really, if you need help with that, I encourage you to talk with Jennifer, and she can give you some great ideas. What about these? One of the big things that happens every week is our weekly reports. And this is something kind of unique that Cornerstone does, and I love it. And if you've not been part of a life group before, I want to talk a little bit about this, and Larry can tell us a little bit more. But every week, right after the conclusion of the group, you will receive, the leader will receive, or you can designate somebody else if you want to, if you don't want to, but you will receive an email. It just simply says, we met this week or we didn't meet this week. And why don't you kind of walk us through that email and kind of what happens after you click that?
Well, like you said, you just click whether you met or you did not meet, and then something happens based on which way you click there. If you click we did not meet, that's pretty much it. It takes you to the website and you close out of it. But if you pick that you did meet, then you have some things to do. And one of the first things is when everybody signs up for your life group or they submit a card and we add them to the list, their name is on a report. And when you click we met, you're going to be able to go through there and say who was there and who wasn't there. And that really helps the church, because we encourage life group participation. We know how much it helps people to grow, and we need to know who's in a life group and who's not, and are they being cared for in that manner. And so you want to click who's been there and who's not, and there's even a place down there to put the number of guests that you've had. Mm-hmm.
Okay, when you fill out these forms, what the meeting discussed, the prayer request, attendance, and all that, it asks you, do you want to send this to the entire group? Go ahead, and we encourage you to do this because it will keep everyone in the group connected. Go ahead, send that out, and then everybody in your group, even the people who weren't there, get this report. Just a simple email. It goes to the elders as well, so we can be praying for you, that we can stay connected to you. And it really it really helps us as leadership know how we can pray for the body and pray for the different life groups.
There is 2 more fields on that report that are kind of helpful. One is if you have a service project, which we very much encourage the small groups to do together, just to kind of build a type of camaraderie, teamwork, and also to bless others. So you can put what your service project might be and when you're going to accomplish that. And then the other one is, say your group doesn't meet every week. Well, there's a field that says next meeting date, and that will be automatically populated. Say if you meet every Wednesday, it's going to put the next Wednesday. But you can change that. If you know next Wednesday is the holiday, we're not going to get together. You can change it to a different date. And again, once that information is put in, everybody who gets the email can see, oh, the next meeting date is 2 weeks out.
And so Larry mentioned service projects. If you're wanting to do a service project, but you don't really have a good idea, we can help you pick a service project. I know Nicole is really passionate about helping our groups find different ways they can serve in our community. So we'll get you connected to her, and she can maybe provide some ideas. There's so many great ministries in our area that always need volunteers, always need help. And again, when you serve together as a group, here's how I'll just tell you, here's how you know you can have a successful group. It's when you actually do things outside of your group meeting time. It's when you actually get connected to a point where you're calling each other throughout the week, where you're serving together, and when you're just working together. That's really when you know you've connected and are building relationships that make a difference.
And it's those combined relationships and community sense that you feel in those small groups that start to expand into the whole church and into the entire community.
One final logistics thing we need to talk about, and that's how you submit the child care request. And after, there's a form that you will need to fill out. Hopefully we can get this online eventually. Right now it's just a paper form, but you just fill out who provided child care, the date, and you'll sign it as a life group leader, verifying that they were there. And you can submit that to our church office. There's a box outside the church office. You can place that in or give it to Paula, and she will make sure that the church pays for your child care workers.
And again, that rate was?
It's $15
per meeting.
Per meeting, per person.
Okay.
And so if you've got 2 workers, we'll pay for 2. Or there's been a few times when we've had over 20 kids that we've even gone to 3 workers. Or if there's been a high number of babies, you obviously it takes a few more workers for that. But there again, we want to make sure a couple things on the child care workers. They have to be over, I think, 13 years old. And we want to make sure that they've talked with Jennifer and gone through some training themselves so they know what to expect and what's required of them. So,
well, I think that's about it for this session.
I think it is. So again, this has kind of covered some of those, I guess, logistical and some of those technical aspects of how you're going to manage your group and make sure everybody's in the same loop about what's happening. And our next video, we'll get into the nuts and bolts of actually leading your group.
Bye now.